Hey everybody, welcome to Between the Laughs with Carlos Mencia and
Gabe Lopez.
still with Gabe Lopez. Yeah, you've been in here every episode. I wonder why.
I like hanging out.
Listen, I got a little bit of my son gave me a little bit of a cough, but the cool thing is that before when I would get coughs because of my GERD, you remember I just could not stop coughing. Now that like that's going down and I'm getting better at that, like my cough feels like a normal, not for me, it's like, man, it's so good not to be coughing consistently all day long. So it's a good thing, man. Anyway,
Let's see how many times you cough during this episode.
I don't know. It'll be a few times, but it's because I have a cough. Whereas if this was before, I'd be going like the whole show, like when we used to before.
Because you're Ebola or whatever it is you have.
GERD,
Whatever.
gastroesophageal. It's just acid reflux. It's usually from eating big portions. So you eat less, but you eat bigger portions, and then your stomach produces so much acid. It just gets bad. And then eating in the middle of the night, going to sleep, et cetera, et cetera. You know, you don't suffer from that.
Can you email me the rest of the story? I'm really not interested.
That's because you don't suffer from that. You know how many people do? Have you seen how many commercials come out for Prilosec and all those? That's what those are for. Those are all those. Then they became OTC, over the counter. So there's Nexium, then the OTC Nexium, then omeprazole, esomeprazole. Yeah, wow. Bro. It's everywhere, dude.
Quite the brand whore you are.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Exactly. But you don't suffer from.
I do not.
You don't get hungry in the middle of the night.
No, I do get hungry in the middle of the night. I force myself to not eat in the middle of the night. That's just as we age. It's one thing if we're in your 20s. Mm-hmm. In your 40s, nah, your body tells you, no, you can't do this. Jack in the Box does not react the same in your 40s at midnight as it did in your 20s.
Yeah. The reason I stopped eating at night because the last straw for me, bro, was I was sleeping on my back, and I felt, heartburn, and then I was like, let me roll to my side, and then when like the acid hit the side of my stomach that it hadn't been in, the feeling was just like I was on fire. My chest was on fire. I thought, okay, I got it. This is ridiculous. And we're going to talk about this kind of because I want to talk about, first of all, it's getting warm here in Las Vegas.
Oh yeah,
where we do the podcast. And I walked downstairs today, and I was also looking out, and my window looks out to the pool area, and bro, yeah. There are way too many people.
There's a lot of confidence.
Yes. Like, first of all, before you even get to those, from my hotel elevator going down, there's about 40 feet to another elevator that goes down. Within those 40 feet, I saw 6 women wearing like those cutoff jean shorts with a little bit of the ass showing.
Yeah.
But none of them should be showing that part of their ass. Like, one of them looked like a square. I don't know how. Yeah, exactly. Your face. How is your ass squared? Yeah. And like 3 of them looked like a triangle where the sagging of the ass was so much that it literally pointed like a triangle downward. That's somebody that doesn't have a friend or whose boyfriend or husband don't have the balls to say, babe.
No.
Yeah. Wear tights. Tights will like kind of spank it and shove it up there somewhere. But letting gravity get a hold of that.
Oh. That means they didn't even have a dad growing up. You're not going out like that. Hell no, you're not.
Is that what you would do if you were like, because you don't have kids.
But I have 4 sisters.
Uh-huh.
And I'm the oldest. Like,
yeah.
Nope, you're not.
So
nope.
you were that guy?
Oh, I was.
No.
Because I'm still the guy.
Right.
And I know how guys see girls.
Right.
Especially when they were in their teenage years and they're going up, nope. I'm a guy. I know if we were not related, how I would look at you, because this is how I look at strangers. So I know how guys are going to look at you. Go fucking change.
And what exactly would a guy think? You know what I mean? With whatever you thought what they were dressed as?
Just whatever natural thoughts, because the instant thought, the more skin you see, the more skin you want to see. Is always what I taught them. Hey, the more skin you show, the more that becomes not enough.
Right.
And they want to see more.
Right. But it wasn't because they looked bad. It was because they were showing too much.
No. They were just showing too much.
Why is it bad to show too much? Like, I don't mind the showing too much. I mind the showing too much when what you're showing me should not be shown.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? That's my issue. Like somebody with an okay body. I'm not even talking about perfect, no hourglass. Just an okay body. You know what I mean? Not where your ass is sagging into a square or a polygon or something like that.
But even it doesn't matter. At no point do you wonder, hot or not, do you wonder, hey, she looks like she has a degree in astrophysics.
I guess. Yeah, when I'm in Vegas, I don't think that way.
Right?
I don't. When I'm in Vegas and I see like somebody going to the pool that's decent, attractive, showing a lot. If they're young, I'm like, oh well, she's here to party. She's one of those girls.
Yeah.
But if they're like in their 30s or 40s, I go, yeah, she maybe here for a convention, and this is her moment to shine. You know what I mean? This is her moment to show it. Because Vegas is the one place where women come here who do have degrees, who do have great jobs, and just act like totally opposite of who they are wherever they come from.
Yeah.
You've experienced this, right?
Because I get to host a lot of these conventions.
Right.
And the ones that stand out the most are like I do some pharmaceutical conventions. Mm-hmm. And so it's all these pharma dudes and these pharma bitches. Uh-huh. And these are all type A personalities that everything Armani. It's not that I got a Mercedes. It's this year's Mercedes. And these fuckers are all trying to outdo each other. And they are 10s. The dudes, like, I'm not gay.
Right.
I can see these who like, right. Yeah, very fuckable.
Yeah.
The women, same.
Right.
And either they have no chance with each other or they do have a chance with each other, but it's never in between. It's a very direct. So, you're attractive, I'm attractive. Are we doing this tonight? No? And they move on. They have that sales rep mentality. I've witnessed it. And they hire me basically just to make fun of the CEO because that's something that's off limits for them.
And is it fun to do that? Is it like they don't get me to do stuff like that?
Yeah.
Because I would probably I go too hard. You know what I mean? I'm too like, and it's not that I go hard. It's just that I'm real, and people want to hear cutie, funny, borderline jokes, but they don't want to hear like real. You know what I mean?
No, like I will purposely find a batch of sales reps. Hey.
Okay.
What do you guys feel about your CEO? And I'm just writing everything down, minus names. I don't need to know your names.
Right.
Because I don't need to be implicated like that if the CEO ever happened to be who told you that.
Right.
No, I just took a couple notes down, and I was just in the bar in the lounge last night, and I was just jotting some notes down, and this is what I came up with.
Right.
Even though it's on good authority.
Right.
Oh, he's this guy, but he's great. He created this from scratch, but can't keep a marriage if his life depended on it, and shit like that. So nothing's off the table with me.
Nice.
And they keep hiring me.
Nice.
There's times I walked away, I'm like, fuck, they're not going to
They're never bringing me back.
They
You went too
refer
hard.
me to other companies. Like, wow, okay.
Wow.
Be yourself.
Wow. Well, that's good.
And that's the best advice. I think it was Ralphie Bay that told me, do you, because if you water yourself down and the crowd doesn't like you, one, the crowd didn't get you.
Right.
And you didn't give them your product, so there was never a match there. So at least if you give them what's in your heart, and then they don't like you, well, at least you gave them what was you.
Yeah.
Not what you thought they could handle.
I learned that so they used to have a show. Ironically, bro, it was called The Dirty Show.
Nice.
At Just for Laughs.
Okay.
This was.
Oh, that's right. They did have a dirty show.
So it was called The Dirty Show. It was Just for Laughs, and I was on that show. Dennis Miller's brother was running the night, and somebody from ABC and NBC came to see that show, and so my managers and agents told me, don't do what you normally do. Don't use profanity. You know what I mean? Yeah. Don't do those kinds of jokes. Just do this clean set. And so I did, and I didn't get the reaction because all the guys before me were pussy dick, pussy fuck, pussy dick, fuck, pussy.
And you paid attention.
And I came up here and I went, I'm from Central America, Nebraska. You know what I mean? Like, I did all those family jokes. Yeah. I'm 5'11", sisters and 6 brothers. I was born in Honduras, but everybody always asked me, what part of Mexico is that? Like, I did the set, but at the end, it was nothing. It was not memorable. It was, and I got off stage.
And you didn't give the crowd you.
Right.
And they didn't remember
They didn't get
because
me.
they didn't get you.
But the cool thing was that the managers and agents were right there on the edge of the stage when I got off, and they went, "Sorry, that's our mistake. That's our mistake. We messed
Our
up.
bad.
We fucked up. We're so sorry." And so I learned at that moment the taste of that. The taste of doing what somebody else wants and not getting the desired is worse than doing what you want and not getting the desired, because at least you blame yourself.
Yes.
You look at the mirror and you go, you know what? I did that. That was my bad. But dude, knowing that NBC and ABC might have liked me, possibly, if I hadn't listened to what they said instead of what I wanted to do, but I didn't want to be.
Because you could have been the standout.
Correct.
You watered your shit down because they told you that.
Yes.
And there's clubs I won't do. Hey, this is an older crowd, and you've heard this. Mm-hmm. There's an older crowd. We need to keep it PG-13
Right.
or cleaner. No, I won't do your fucking club.
Right.
That's why I don't do cruises, because you have to have a clean set.
Right.
And if I have to do a clean set, that means I have to think about the words that are going to come as opposed to just letting them flow.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind that because I'm able to. Well, we've talked about this.
But it's not fun.
For you. For me, it is, because for me, it's not the language. For me, it's the emotion. The reason I use profanity is because there is no word. Like if I want to do a bit where I'm angry, right, or where I'm frustrated, there's no better word than fuck in the English vocabulary to depict that. There just isn't. You know, you've heard me do both sets. I'm passionate either way.
Yeah.
But one way I think connects more with truth, because saying damn or goddamn or what, it's just not the same as saying in that moment.
If you hit your toe in the middle of the night on your coffee table,
Correct.
Are you saying shucks?
Yes.
Is that getting the real passion of that pain?
Right. Now I do know people that are like that, by the way.
Oh darn.
Yes.
Mormon.
That'll say stuff like Jesus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or bike. My father-in-law stubbed his toe and flipped and fell, and on the way down he said, "Gosh darn it." He literally said that. Like that was it, right? That was his thing.
And that is how filtered his brain is.
But that's his vocabulary,
Yeah.
right? He never went to the place that we went to. But he didn't have to, you know what I mean? We grew up around a different vocabulary, different people. But anyway, going back to, that's twice, by the way. Going back to what we were talking about, there are women wearing shorts, right? That I'm like, you should not be showing that side, wear them longer. Then there were the women in bathing suits and bikinis that was like, wait, why would you show that? And then we went to the supermarket and we saw these behemoths. I mean, one of them literally had a pooch sack that she was leaning over the counter and the pooch was resting on the counter.
Yeah.
And she was wearing tights. Mm-hmm. And it's like, why don't you hide it? So I started thinking, and I said this, and I mean this. Look, I am 100% down with body positivity, right? You should feel good about your body until you're not healthy anymore.
Yeah.
Like this whole thing has gone too far, where people that are obese with diabetes, are saying like, hey, this is my body. No, dude, you're sick. We're not supposed to be, our BMI is not supposed to be this much. And yes, I know, I get it, that, we're supposed to accept everybody with that. I accept you. I accept that you're so unhealthy, you're going to die from diabetes. I accept that. But I can't get down with letting people get, like, if that was my friend, I would say something. And listen, who's a good example? Oh, a great example is Cisco Duran.
Yeah.
He weighed 500 pounds when I met him.
Wow.
He used to stand on stage, and his gut was so big, he would leave a drink between his tits and his stomach, and sometimes do a joke and leave it there, and it would stay there. That's how big he was.
Wow. But
I wanted to bring him on the road. So I told him, I go, listen, you cannot come on the road with me until you lose at least 100, 150 pounds. You can't travel wearing 500 pounds. You can't, your body won't take it. You know what I mean? Your body will not withstand getting on a plane, then catching another plane, and then going to where you're going, and then not getting good sleep. Like, I'll give you an example. Tonight, we're going to do a show. Then we're going to do karaoke. I'm going to leave here sometime between 1 and 1:30. I'm going to get home around 5-ish or 6. I have a flight at 12, which means I have to leave the house at 9. So if I sleep, I'm going to get maybe 2 hours of sleep. Then I'm going to fly to Dallas. Then I'm going to connect from Dallas to Tampa. I'm going to get to Tampa at 9:30. I'm probably going to get to sleep at about 12-ish. I got to wake up at 6 because I got to do a radio station. I'm at 6, drive around, go to the radio station, come back, edit stuff until the show starts. And the first night of good sleep I'm going to get is Friday night. After 2 shows, I'm probably going to sleep from about 2 in the morning to about 12 o'clock. A 10-hour nice nap. I'm talking to you on Wednesday, bro.
Yeah.
Telling you that
and that 8-hour block that you get is worth 3 days worth of ketchup.
Correct. And I'm not in the best shape ever. That's why I stopped doing like gummies and any kind of drugs at night to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Not eating in the middle of the night, not drinking, just not having beers. If somebody will give me one shot here or there, okay, but not even doing that pretty much. Because even now I'm like, man, my body can't take this. I need to slim down and get fitter in order for me, and I was taking pills to go to sleep and I'd still wake up groggy. And dude, it was just so hard. Now, so anyway, I told him, bro, you got to lose weight. And as a friend, I kind of used bringing him on the road
As the incentive.
As an incentive to have him lose weight. And he lost 150 pounds. And then now he's with a buddy, John Kenny, who has a company, a health company.
I think he's broken 200 pounds already, hasn't he?
He's he's to that point where he's gonna have to get surgery. Yeah. I mean, for the extra skin and stuff. He's gonna get, his body's gonna get circumcised. We were talking about this earlier. They're gonna like take the extra skin out and do it. So I don't like this trend, bro. I don't like this trend of us looking at anybody at any weight and saying, hey, you can't say anything bad about that because you're being cruel to their body positivity. There is a tipping point where you go from, hey, yeah, I'm thick, whatever, to I'm unhealthy.
Yeah.
And wherever that point is, at that point, you went too far. And people like me who are comedians get to point that out.
I hate it even more, even from a guy perspective. If we have to be more respectful or kind to women, not to guys, especially your own friends. The best joke I heard is like, bro, am I fat? It's like, bro, I have 5 fat friends and you're 4 of them. Like, that's, when I don't agree with that. Like, fat, ugly, the way we grew up in school, and that really thickened our skin and really got us to not get triggered by stupid words that are just fucking words.
Right.
You're fat. Oh, damn it. I'm going to jump off a building.
Right.
Oh, you're ugly. Okay.
But what are you supposed to say when somebody is? Do you know what I'm saying? What do you say? Like, what do you say? What do I say to my friend who weighs 500 pounds? You're fine.
Yeah.
You can come out on the road. Okay. I mean, dude, you can call him. For the first, few years that he was on the road with me, he was sick. Like, not severely sick, but sick all the time.
Yeah.
Because his body was just getting pushed to an extreme.
But also the other extreme. There are people that are so skinny. Tell me we haven't been walking down the strip. Oh, eat a fucking sandwich.
Yes.
When you have a size 0 thong and it still just dangles. Like, it's not even fitting tight. It's so gross.
When you're in bike shorts and there's any sagginess to
baggy.
them.
They're baggy.
Right. Like, that's bad as well. But it's gotten to a point where, and it's like you said.
That's unhealthy, too.
It is unhealthy. But you can't point that out either. You know what I mean? But here's the difference. People like you and me, we're the ones that are going to find a creative way to call our friends fat, or find a creative way to, Karen Carpenter, our other friends who are on the other end. But there is such a stigma as if you're being cruel to your friends. Yeah. I think it's cruel to let your friends get to a point. Once your friend is pre-diabetic and they can lose weight and fix it, it's up to us as friends to say some shit. Yeah. Not be so fucking politically correct or so follow the sensitive rules that you're like, well, I want to hurt his feelings. I don't give a shit about his feelings. I give a shit about their weight that's going to have them turn into diabetes, that's going to then have them have to eat certain foods, have to not eat certain foods, and then it's going to affect me because at some point we're going to go, hey, where are we going to go eat? Well, we can't go to this place or this place because, you know, he's diabetic and he can't have that.
Yeah.
So now your weight is affecting me when all you had to do was lose weight 3 years ago when the doctor told you and nobody wanted to tell you because that's body shaming. That's making you feel bad. Listen, if you're healthy, all good, brother.
Yeah.
You got a good heart, all good. You don't have plaque in your heart, all good. Your BMI is over the normal, but you're healthy. You know what I mean? There are people like that. My brother Heriberto was like that. He was always that thick guy. You know what I mean? He was a guy that when he was a kid, we would go to the Husky section at Sears to get clothes for him.
The Husky, yes.
So he was the Husky kid. And, you know, we always were there, but he never got fat. He always stayed husky. He never sagged.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That
he never
was
got
just-
fat to the
that was
point of
just-
sagging.
That was just his body frame. That's just who
That's
he was.
yeah, that's who he was. He was the guy that we referred to back in the day as thick-boned. Remember that?
Yeah.
We'd say, oh, that dude is thick-boned. That chick is thick-boned.
Yeah.
Because that's who they were the whole time.
Yeah.
But they never got fat. Like, once you start sagging and folding and extra cracks and, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
That's unhealthy. And somebody should say that. And your body positivity to the point where, what were you saying? That we saw a lady, and by the way, guys, I know you want to think that like we're being disrespectful with the way we talk here or we say, but this is how respectful I am. I'm saying this here to anonymous people. I could have taken pictures of every single person I'm talking to you about right now, posted them on some of my social media, blurred the face or blurred, you know, the parts of the body that I don't want them to see or any recognition. But I kind of think, I don't know, to me that's going too far. To me, if I take a picture of you and I post, excuse me, I'm walking in the lobby of this hotel and I post a picture and I blur everything, you know, your face and everything, but you go on my site and you recognize yourself or your friends recognize you,
Yeah.
I feel that's going too far.
Absolutely.
That's me personally. I'll do whatever on stage. I'm that guy. On stage, I will say and do anything. Off stage, it's not my thing. That's why I can't watch. Like, I can't watch. Let me think of a show. Oh, I can't watch Impractical Jokers. I can't watch it.
It's a god awful show.
I don't know about good or bad. I can't even tell you if it's good or bad because I can't watch the show. Because I can't watch them do that to people that don't know that that's being done to them. Yeah. And I know that afterwards they go, hey, you know, it was just us. Sorry.
Yeah. It's us friends telling other friends to, it's levels of uncomfortable. I'm going to tell you to tell this to this person to make you uncomfortable, and now you're going to make that person uncomfortable, and I don't see the fun in that. There's nothing fun about that.
But they don't know it. They don't know it until afterwards. And here's the thing. I know that everybody's going to go, but Carlos, they obviously signed a paper or they wouldn't be on TV. How many people do you think, well, first of all, they all travel when they do that show and shows like it, they all have security. Do you know why they have security? Because some of those guys, when put in those positions, have tried to beat the shit out of the people that did it to them. And I have no problem with that whatsoever. If you put me in a situation, dude, it's so funny. Back in the day, they were gonna get Mario Lopez to punk me when the TV show Punk come, and then when the final decision got made, everybody was like, "Yeah, Carlos might actually snap and do something crazy if we do this to him." You know,
So
he might react. He's not gonna react the way you think he's gonna react. He's gonna think this is real and he's gonna behave accordingly. And he doesn't like when people do jokes outside of, you know, the theater is not his space. He doesn't look at the world that way. Yeah. You know, I'm not Tom Green, and I respect that he could do that. But, dude, I remember watching the Tom Green show when his father was taking a dump, and he went in there and like hit him with a newspaper or something like that. I don't remember exactly. Do you remember what he would do?
It's like the stuff that Jackass would do, but Jackass would keep it within themselves. They would come up with their own things. You did this to yourself.
Right.
But there were scenes in Jackass where I forgot which character, where they would always mess with the parents. Mm-hmm. Like when the dad's taking a shit and they're going in and just start wailing on him. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?
Right.
You know, like,
bro, if I did that to my father, I swear to God, bro, let me tell you what he would have done. He would have taken me out back, made me kneel on the cement with rice, and not cooked rice. Regular rice on the cement. He would have made me stand there in the sun for a few hours. Then he would have come out there with a rope. And I remember the rope, bro. It was a rope that he brought from Honduras. It was this rope that had brown, like the regular brown with an orange intertwined. And it was made out of like a synthetic kind of a plastic. And when he would swing it to hit you, you would hear, like in a movie, you would hear it, bro. You would hear the
whip?
Yes, you would hear the, and then you would hear the clack hit you. He would have beat the living shit out of me, bro, if I ever did that to him. I could never imagine. Could you do that to your dad?
No.
What would you have done?
I wouldn't even consider.
But what do you think your dad would have done?
I'd be disowned. Like, I don't even live at this house anymore. That's where I would be. Nope, you're gone. If that's a possibility in this house, don't need you here.
Jesus, I'd rather get an ass whooping than get kicked out of the house. I don't think my dad would kick me out of the house. But he would definitely beat my ass and leave. Like, he would beat my ass to the point where I couldn't go to school for at least a week. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Well, no, dude. I don't know if you, but for me personally, 3 days. 3 days is the longest that I didn't go to school because of some bruises I had from my parents hitting me. And a postponed trip to Mexico and Honduras because they had beaten me to the point where I had scars. Yeah, wow. Like bruises on my back and stuff. Yeah. So my parents, I never would have been able to do that. But so going back to it, we saw, because I was going to ask you, we saw this woman whose body was just so bad, and she was wearing tights, and you said it looked like a what?
She looked like those margarita glasses from the Mexican restaurant where it's just a stick because she had very skinny legs, and then the ones that have the first cup and then the second cup. The first cup was her butt, and the second cup was her belly, and I couldn't believe I was looking at it. I had to turn around, like, is this really?
Yes.
Am I really looking at
yes.
it? And she was in the donut section.
Yeah.
And God bless anybody to each their own.
But that's to live their life. No, and that's the thing. That's the thing. At that point, it's unhealthy.
Of course, it's unhealthy.
It's not just to each their own. It's that this is unhealthy, and look. Our kids learn from what they see as well, and they're seeing all of this and thinking that this is okay. And like I said, being thick is okay. Being unhealthy, that's just wrong. And for all the women who right now have their panties in a bunch or are in a tizzy or are triggered, whatever word you want to use to phrase it, why aren't you guys talking about guys like that?
Happy to.
Yeah, here's the problem. Guys who are fat wear loose clothes. They try to hide their fat.
Yeah.
They try to wear triple X's that hang down like a kind of like a muumuu, like a big half a skirt or something. But what they don't do is wear tights. Mm-mm. They don't wear shirts that hug their fat. No, they wear a shirt that goes over their fat. And the worst thing sometimes is when they sit down, and then you could see the bulge of fat coming from underneath and between their legs, or when the shirt is not long enough, that when they raise their arms or point to something,
you see that little.
Yeah, you see the little long underneath. But they're trying to hide it. They're not wearing jester. They're not wearing jester bottoms, bro, to show you, hey, look at this bottom that looks like those drinks that you buy at Zebra, whatever that purple Zebra place is, with the bubble in the bubble. I mean, that's just too much.
Yeah.
So now we get into the unhealthy. And I think a lot of these people, because I know this for me. If I'm not drinking, I'm not doing drugs, and I'm sad, you know what? Sometimes overeating makes me feel good, personally.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. If I'm sad, bro, and I'm not gonna drink, and I'm not gonna do drugs, and I'm not gonna, do anything like that, sometimes having 2 pastrami's from the hat, 2 of them, not 1, yeah, is a little comforting. I don't know why.
And that's your thing. Because when I'm sad, I don't eat. I lose weight because I don't have an appetite.
Right.
I don't feel like drinking.
Right.
I don't feel like eating. I just want to lay in my bed and stare at the ceiling when I'm sad.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, and I'm trying to change that about myself. You know what I mean? I'm rereading this book. It's ironic. My son told me to check it out. It's called Atomic Habits. Have you heard of it?
Oh, I have.
Yeah, so Atomic Habits, and I'm like, all right, I got to start these habits of, kind of getting, because to be honest with you, I had my come to Jesus moment this weekend. So I just signed with a new company for social media. And I told them, look, I'm going to edit all the videos that I'm going to send you. I'm not going to send you raw footage and hope that you get the stuff that I want. I'm going to send you the videos, edited and done. So I'll edit them. I like doing that. I'm not going to do that the whole time. But I like, when I move into a new venture, I'm kind of like that, the undercover boss. I want to know the job. I want to drive the forklift at first, for half a day. I want to, put stuff up for half a day. I want to package for half a day. I want to learn what that's like, because I want to know that when I say, hey, this shit should have got done, I'm saying it because I would have personally been able to accomplish that goal within that period of time. Right?
Yeah.
Not the Steve Jobs one of, well, you don't even know how to design this. You're just telling us you don't know the work that goes in.
Yeah,
No.
Pointing, get it done, get it done.
Correct. Not that. I want to know. So I want to edit this stuff so that in the future, a year from now, when I'm like, look, I'm going to send you the footage now, here. And then they post up 10 videos. And then they send me a bill going, it was 48 hours. And I'm like, whoa. No. I would have done that editing in 12 hours. Come on, guys. Seriously. I want to be able to know what it entails and what I'm talking about. But, dude, staring at my double chin over and over and over and doing videos where you zoom in and you zoom out and you zoom in. Oh, my God, bro. Oh, dude. I literally look at that last night on the way to my room. I have a picture of it. And I was like, should I eat? Should I not? And I went, nope, I remember what I'm supposed to do right now. And I pulled out my phone and I looked at my double chin and I immediately lost my entire appetite, bro. I went upstairs and took this, I have this little liquid. It's called dark cherry. It's just extract from cherry. It's nothing crazy. And it helps me get a little calm and sleepy. And I went to sleep. Because I looked at that double chin, bro. It's disgusting. I mean, dude, I can't see anything else, bro. I sent it to my brother, and he's like, you look great. I'm like, no, dude. I look like I'm talking, and then Jabba underneath is going, wiki, wiki. Like, it's so bad, bro. I can't. And then I thought, that's what makes me happy, right? And I started thinking about, what is it about our society today? God damn. By the way, this was the intro to it. What we just did, bro, this 30 minutes, was the intro to what I really want to talk about, which was, and is, why are we such an unhappy society, bro? Why are we, and I'll tell you where my sadness comes from, mine personally. My sadness reaches me when my sons or my wife or somebody in my family have something happen to them that I feel like I could have, if I was there, I could have helped. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I was there, I would have made a difference. And I'm on the road. And I'm on the road as much as I am right now to keep everything I have. Because I'm going to be frank with you. The amount of hate that I've gotten in the past 15 years has affected my business so much.
Oh.
I mean, so much. Like, if it wasn't for all that hate, I would get played on radio stations regularly, and I would be like, there's a radio station called Comedy Greats. I don't think I've ever heard myself on that. I've heard myself on some of the other ones, but not Comedy Greats. I would definitely be on Comedy Greats if it wasn't for all that. You know, I've had producers. I don't know if I've told you this. I've had, to date, 4 producers now. 4 call me and apologize to me.
Wow.
And tell me that they made sure that I wasn't on 1 movie and 3 TV projects.
Ugh.
They said, I did that. I made sure you weren't on it. And I'm sorry. I was wrong. And now that I actually went to go look for all the material that they say you stole, I can only find the stuff from that one, you know, the wall joke, which is like everybody did it. And a joke that you did that sounded like Cosby's that you say you don't know if he did it or not, but you talked to Cosby and straightened it out with him. I go, yeah. He goes, I couldn't find anything else. I could only find people accusing you, but not actual evidence. And I believe, you know, the person telling us this, and I'm sorry. And I'm sitting there, bro, going, what do I do? You know what I mean? I'm angry inside.
Yeah.
I'm hurt. I want to cry. You're telling me that you made sure that I didn't make money and that I couldn't have been in a TV show? But I also know what it's like to live with pain, to live with that thing inside you, that voice. And I couldn't do that to them. I had to absolve them.
Yeah.
I had to, bro. I had to because
you needed your peace.
Yeah, and I couldn't have peace knowing that I didn't give them peace. That like some resentment inside of me said, "No, you're going to have to eat this pill." The problem is those apologies didn't come with one thing, which is, and because I did that, here's this.
Yeah.
There was nothing.
It was just
I'm sorry, I fucked you.
an empty, I'm sorry.
Yes. There was no, and by the way, I'm doing this, or not, by the way, I'm doing that. It was, and in the future, if ever, like, wow.
And you're in a position, I have to accept the apology. Thanks for reminding me of the bullshit that happened 15 years ago that I didn't do.
Right.
And have a good day. I just,
yeah.
It seems like, why even bring it up at this point?
Correct. And pretty much that's where my sadness comes from, right? Of, you know, getting a phone call from, because, you know, we're my mom's house and our house, you know, getting a phone call from the people that, you know, I pay mortgage to my mom's house and saying, hey, if you don't pay like, you know, $30,000 within the next 60 days, we're going to start foreclosure on you. And I'm like, God damn it. Like, I'll get, you know, I'll do the dates and I get the money, but just the stress of that, just that I have to do this, just the fact that I know this would not be happening if it wasn't for all of that shit and these people. And then I'm like, okay, but, and then, you know, I'm resilient. I get over it. I move on. I do what I can, and I just go, right? Like Joy, who works here where we done it, she's told me a few times, like when we get here, hey, you know, Ned, can you tell your haters to stop? Because I got to delete so many messages. Because even today, they're still with the, and whose jokes is he telling? And he's and his name is not Ned, and he's not Mexican, and blah, 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 blah. And it's just this, like, relentless fervor to, like, you know what I mean? Get me. This is, my point is, I'm not complaining about it. I'm just saying this is where my sadness comes from, right? But I feel like everybody's sad now. And their sadness is turning into resentment and anger. Because I know a lot of people would say, no, people are angry. Anger is just sadness that you cannot deal with.
Yeah.
It's a sadness that you can't accept, right? It's instead of going, yo, that hurt my feelings. That makes me sad. That makes me feel, you know, whatever that is. We go, man, fuck you. And then, you know, but where does it really come from?
Yeah.
Hurt. So, like the joke I do about Trump supporters. They won everything there is to win. They got the House, pretty much. They got the presidency, and they're still mad. Like, what more do you need? You won.
Oh, yeah.
You're like the guy that won the Super Bowl and then took the trophy and went into the locker room of the losing players and then pissed in the trophy and then poured it on them. Like, dude, you won. Celebrate.
Yeah.
Why are they mad? Why are all these people obese. And I know for a fact that a lot of them, like me, get some happiness and pleasure from eating. Why? Why are we the richest country in the world, and yet we're still so sad and angry? I have a theory, but what is yours?
My impression, especially more with kids like teenagers, early 20s. It's not even a social media thing. I call it an Instagram thing. It's things like Instagram and social media platforms put people in a position to see how good other people have it and I don't, and I wish I had that, and it has that type of I'm not happy where I'm at because I'm looking at these constant videos of somebody driving Lamborghini or he has the big house or selling out arenas or just and they don't realize that you're just seeing a snippet of what that person chose for you to see. If your Instagram is full of following people last name Kardashian.
But we saw it too, bro. And I don't mean not to interrupt, but just for you people going, well, that didn't happen before. Yeah, it did. We had TV shows with this. I used to do it. I used to do the lifestyles of the rich and famous. We've got everything, so fuck you.
But there's a segregation. Right? We weren't famous, they were, and so there was that thing. Now people that we've never heard of,
right?
That have a gazillion followers,
right?
And this is me with my stacks of cash, and I'm just gonna dump them in my personal lake because that's the life I lead.
And yet the people watching those videos are the ones that put the money in that person's pocket. Mm-hmm. The only reason they have that cash is because you're watching them. Yeah. So you're watching somebody, you create that monster, and then your envy of that you created makes you sad.
And then you don't realize those rich people you see on Instagram are more miserable than us.
A lot of them are. Yeah, you're right. A lot of them are very, very. But
I would hate to be a Kardashian. To actually be famous for having zero talent whatsoever.
And to be beholden to that. To never have a private life.
But you have nothing to offer the world. Nothing. I created the new widget, and this is what changed the world.
Right. Yeah, like the guy who one day was walking through a field, and I don't know what they're called, the little pieces of stuff, the little round balls that get stuck to your socks and stuff. What are those called?
Those little.
I don't know what they're called.
The little pointy things.
The little pelotitas. Pelotitas. But that guy invented Velcro because he pulled out the little thing. He looked at what it is, and if you look at Velcro is just basically some socks and the little other side that has all the little points and that grab onto it, and that's how Velcro was created, right? So that guy, we understand how he made his money. You're saying these people just literally...
Yeah, that guy changed the world.
Changed the world.
Literally
changed the world. Literally made the world a different place.
Like I used to have a neighbor, and he had trademarks and patents on stuff. I'm like, okay, just out of curiosity, like stuff I what? He's like, my biggest money maker I actually had some Mexican employees, and we moved appliances. So some of my employees got old seat belts from the junkyard, and they created this makeshift thing where it was like shoulder straps, and so they were actually lifting it up with their shoulders, one on one end, and so
I've seen the device.
He got the trademark and the patent on that, and made millions on that idea with his Home Depot account.
Yeah, I've literally seen that actual device.
We've all seen it.
Wow. So those people, you get it. But those people are happy because they're not doing it for the money. Well, let me put it this way. The people that I know that are wealthy, that are happy, are people that are doing what they love, right?
Yeah.
I love what I do. It's not a sacrifice to go on the road. It's difficult on my body, on my brain sometimes, right? But it's not a sacrifice. It's something that I would do for free, right?
Yeah.
Like, dude, you would have loved this, okay? Love this. I'm doing a Thursday night show at a comedy club in Portland, Maine. I've never been to Portland, never been to Maine. The weekend shows are doing okay. The Thursday show, they asked, do you want us to cancel it? I was like, I already got my flight. I'm already going to be there. However many people show up,
We'll do a show.
we'll do a show. All right. 7 people showed up. This is a little tiny club, but 7 people are there. So I go up on stage and I go, listen, I've said this many times before. I love what I do for a living. I would do it for free. And then I looked at him and I went, but you fuckers are literally testing that theory out tonight. And it was a great show. It was one of the funniest shows I've done. And Kalen did such a great job because there was no pressure. And there were so little people that he just treated it like a coffee shop set, you know, at an open mic night. And he killed it. And it was awesome. It was just beautiful. That being said, I have a lot of friends who do what they do for the money. And they can't take enough vacations. They can't get enough extra stuff. They can't buy enough whatever to truly be happy.
Well, to add to that, because you live in LA. I actually live here in Vegas. And I love what I do. I'm blessed because there's comics that have come up to me, bro, you have to do these shows every week. No, I get to do these shows. This is what I dreamed of. This is what I get to do.
Right.
If I was to have a complaint living in Vegas, and I get to do shows in Vegas regularly, is I'm always in competition with the other concerts that I might want to go to.
Right.
Like, holy, hey, I got, and if you have friends in the industry, hey, we got some extra tickets to Bruno Mars tonight.
Right.
Do you want to go? Fuck, no, I have 2 shows tonight. But I really do want to go to Bruno Mars.
Right, of course you do.
But that is, especially here in Vegas, where it's just, there is always a concert, and we perform at the same time, and so if there was a complaint, I wish I had time to go to some of these shows.
Right.
That's it. Like, you know, it's just, but what a wonderful life. Well, I can't go to Bruno Mars because I have my own show at the same time.
Exactly. And listen, for you people, what I'm about to say is one of the reasons that back in the day, this is a real reason that a lot of comedians hated me. Because I would have said this at the Comedy Store, at the Laugh Factory, at the Improv, in front of every comedian that I knew or didn't know or that was there. I would have said this. If you have that mentality and you're saying you have to do this many shows, you're not a real comedian. And you should stop doing comedy. Because those of us that love it, we would never say that. I would never say, I have to do this many shows. I get to do this many shows. I got to perform in Portland, Maine. I have, because you know what? I've also known the career of many people who can't get booked in Portland, Maine, or Portland, Oregon, for that matter.
Yeah.
Who wish they could and can't. So, but when I would say stuff like that back in the day in front of, you know, all of these comedians, it didn't always land well. Came off as arrogant, I guess, or I was young and cocky and abrasive and had bred a lot of resentment. But I was trying to tell them, like, you cannot have this attitude.
Yeah.
Your attitude has to be, especially for us, you strike while the iron is hot. You get hot, you jump on that train.
Absolutely.
You have no idea how long it's going to last. You have no idea from one day to the other, you get canceled. All of a sudden, nobody wants to see you perform anymore. One person says something, you know what I mean? And boom, you're done. You just have no clue.
And then the places that comedy's taken me that I could never have gone to. Places like, I've been in Alaska where it was daytime the whole time. I've been to Greenland where it was nighttime the whole fucking time that we were there. And so many places in between. I didn't know where the fucking Marshall Islands were.
Right.
I didn't know how instrumental they were to World War II until I saw a bunch of wreckage on an island that I wouldn't have access to.
A man-made island.
I didn't talk shit.
Yes. Yeah. And we get to.
And we get to.
Correct. But we see that way. But so a lot of people that have, you think a lot of people that have access to the social media, that they see all these people and think that that's how life really is. That's how
because I see, like, if you're 13, 14, 15 and already hooked on Instagram,
right,
and that's the life you see,
or TikTok or whatever,
right. and then 2 years from now, some new god awful social media that we're gonna have to adopt because that's how we get footage out.
Yeah, Facebook's already going down, so it went from MySpace to Facebook, and now there's gonna be some
Instagram, and then Twitter, and Twitter became X, and then people are doing away with that shit. And now TikTok's popular.
And now we're gonna find some. Yeah, it just keeps migrating.
And then we have to do TikTok, but we're trying to cater to kids that aren't even old enough to come to our fucking shows yet.
And you have to do it in snippets of time where sometimes
we need to entertain you in 30 to 45 seconds.
I got to take like, a 4-minute bit.
Chop it.
And chop it and chop it and chop it and chop it and chop it. And when I chop a 4-minute bit into a 1 minute, 1.5 minute bit, you know what gets chopped off?
The fun.
The heart. The heart.
Yeah.
The heart of it.
The real of the joke.
The goodness of it.
Yeah.
Right? The part where I care about your health. That's why I'm doing these fat jokes.
Yeah.
Right? It's
But there are people that will snip it.
Yes.
If they, out of absolute animosity towards you,
correct,
or towards me, we need to snip this.
Right.
And all they get is whatever negative thing that they heard and not read the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. But at least if you put it all out, you can go check out the whole video. Stop with this bullshit. Yeah. You can defend that. Anything else you think is driving people to sadness?
Just getting there. Just get out of your head.
Here's what I think it is. A big part of it. I think a big part of it is we are social beings. Always have been. Right? I mean, we still gather around the fire. Think about that, bro.
Love that.
We still gather around the fire in the backyards, a backyard pit. I mean, this is caveman 101. Yeah. Back in the days when we were, painting things on walls. And, women would get together in their circle and they would talk like women. Because women communicate different than men. Women can go round and round and round in circles and not even attempt to fix any of the problems. Literally just talk about them. Whereas to men, we suck at that. We're really good at, hey, Tony said blah, blah, blah. What do you think? I think he should do this. I think he should do that. Well, I think he should do this. Like, we're not just there to listen. We're there to kind of guide our friends to places where we want to help them fix it.
Yeah. I think we're getting better at it. The shitty part is, for you and I, the past year and a half, where I really thought, okay, men's mental health is a thing.
Right.
And I will vent to you, hey, have you ever gone through something like this? Whether it's personal, professional, business, it doesn't fucking matter. And we've bounced stuff off of each other being on the road. I remember we were driving from, Tucson to Vegas, and it was like a 4.5-hour drive.
Right.
And at no point was the radio on.
Right.
At no point did I pull out my phone, and it was just back and forth, and
it was great. But we were real. That's what I point. The point that I guess I didn't get to was today people do hang out at the fires, but they don't speak the way they used to.
Yeah.
They don't say what they really want to. They don't say it the way they want to say it. They're censoring themselves to the point where,
out of fear of a judgment, though.
And rejection.
Yes.
Out of fear of not being liked. I get it, but at what cost?
Yeah. And if they're really your friend, I've dumped a lot of shit at you where I'm like, I don't understand if Carlos doesn't speak to me ever again. Just because I'm going to spew a bunch of shit at you, and thank God you become that big brother figure that just...
Dude, Tino still loves you. Not only did you talk shit about him the whole time that weekend, you smacked his leg hard like 5 times the day he got a tattoo on his thigh. We were on stage and you smacked his leg. And all he did was, you motherfucker. And he just gritted it. But we're friends in a different way, right? We're happy. We engage in a different way. But I think that the sacrifice of yourself, and by the way, I'm not talking about being cruel or being mean or saying to people shit that hurts just to be hurtful. Because dude, we know people like that. Well, I don't mean to be. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. And you know how I know? You just fucking said that. Yeah. I'm not racist, but you're about to say some racist shit.
Gonna go down right now.
Yes.
When you started off
that
way.
That's what you're saying. I don't want to be insensitive. Yes, you do. Or you would be able to say what you're saying without being insensitive.
Without announcing it.
Right. Just say, I don't say that. I'll sometimes say, listen, I'm going to be candid. Okay. But I'm not going to kind of work back to go forward. I'm just going to, this hit me, bro, and I do joke about it now. When my 18-year-old son was like, Dad, I'm having issues with friends, and because I can't put his stuff out on Jump Street. That's his life. But basically, he's had some issues where his friends kind of turned on him after they led him in a certain direction. And, he has a bad taste in his mouth. And so he was going on a date with this girl, and he said, "How do I act?" And I looked at him and I said, "Did you just talk to your mom?" And he goes, why do you ask? I'm like, "Because you look like you went to your mother and you asked her, and she told you a list of shit you need to do in order to be likable, in order to have that woman see you in the light that you want to be seen." And he goes, "Yeah." I said, "And you can do that. But if you fall in love with this girl and she falls in love with you, and 5 years, 10 years, 6 years, 1 year, 6 months, whatever it is, you become yourself, because we all inevitably do, and then she begins to dislike you or hate you or divorces you, and then you're going to go, 'I can't believe she just changed on me.'" No. No. You lied. You lied about who you were. So my thing to him was, "Son, be yourself. Be yourself. Say what's on your mind, however you want to say it. And if this doesn't work out and later you go, 'Man, I want to say it but in a different way,' then this is a learning lesson for you to say it in a different way. But be yourself, or else you're going to fall trap to having to be somebody else."
And then become a new person.
Yeah, and you know this.
Oh, yeah.
You know this because, can we talk about it or not?
Sure.
Can we?
Sure.
Because you're going through a separation right now,
Yeah.
where you became something different in order to be a part of that relationship. And now you want to be yourself.
Yes.
You want to fight for you. Your mother was the one that told you, "Mijo, I have seen you go through this many relationships, and this is the first time that you're not thinking about her. You're thinking about you. Take care of you." And this is because you were not completely happy because you were not yourself. And I feel like the world is like that. They're in that pain of, "Well, I can't say this, or I can't tell that joke, or I can't tell her I like her, or I can't tell my friend this, I can't tell her she's too skinny, I can't tell him he's too fat, I can't tell them, what are you talking about? I can't say to this person, 'Dude, you've been doing this job for 6 years.'" It's what you were doing to my son in the car on the way here.
Yeah.
So my son, so we had a clog where two of the filters, and they're just those filters that cover these big intakes
In a swimming pool.
in the swimming pool. And there's a bunch of leaves that got in there, and I could tell because I looked and I saw there's 2 screws. I know that there's 2 screws, but I'm making him figure out there's 2 screws. And the whole time he's like, "I don't know what to do, Dad." And you're just giving him jabs. Yeah. You're just jabbing him. And you're just going, "Yeah, man, it must be hard to pull out 2 screws. It must be hard to yank that thing out. Use your muscles, kid." Like you're giving it. And he's over there taking it. He's going, "Okay, I hear you. I can hear you, Gabe. I can hear you." But you were being yourself. You were being yourself.
Yeah.
And he was accepting that of you, knowing.
And I wasn't being hurtful. It was just.
No, you were giving him little jabs,
Yeah.
and he knew it, and he took it, and it's good. But I think that that's what's missing in our talks. That's why I think Trump is such a big thing, because I think that people don't even care and don't even look at sometimes what he's saying. They just go, "Shit, I wish I could be like that. I wish I could say what I want. I wish I could say I don't like illegal immigrants, or I don't want illegal immigration, or some illegal immigrants should get kicked out. But I can't because I'm in California and I work at this, and if I say that, or I'm at a restaurant and I'm a waitress and I can't say that around, so I have to," like all of this suppression of who we are, I think is leading us to this horrible, horrible place where everybody's sad, and then it turns into anger. And how do we get past this, dude? How do we, I mean, you're going through it. How do you do it?
The example that comes to mind is friends that we have that get a TV deal, an ABC deal.
Right.
They get in a pilot.
Sure.
What's the first thing ABC does? Or any network. I'm just using ABC as an example. They go through all your social media of your past, and judge everything and tell you what to remove, because if this may come off a little racist, or this may come off a little sexist, and they just give you the list of, you need to erase these things before this contract is valid.
Right.
And they're just erasing who you are.
Yeah.
And at no point, there is nobody that's intentionally racist. There's
Right.
I'm never. You and I both have
Once in my life, dude. And I'll tell you the story.
But the intention is never when we're on stage. The example I'm trying to, like, when we're on stage.
Oh no, God, no,
our
never,
job,
no.
We never want to hurt anybody.
No, I do this. You know this. One of the first things I say in my performances right now is, look, no comedian writes a joke to be edgy.
Yeah.
Every comedian wants every joke to kill. Like, no comedian has ever written a joke that killed and got a standing ovation and then went, nope, not offensive enough.
Yeah.
That's never been a thing.
No.
Right?
And the interviews I've done with my shows, because they're all uncensored, our job is we make fun of everybody.
Yes.
But we hate nobody.
No. That's why one of the names of my tours was No Hate, No Fear. I don't hate anybody. But I'm not afraid to tell a joke because it's a joke. That's all it is. But like racism, in real life, bro, in real life, real racism, I've only seen it once. One time. And it was the first time I performed in Alabama. And I was at this club. And I thought they were punking me because I'm talking to the manager. And a man walks up to the manager and in this accent says, I know it's an oversight. I'm sure it's a mistake. Yeah, good faith, no problem. But I'm sure that the woman serving us is in the wrong section. And he goes, where are you seated? And he said, blah, blah, blah. And then the manager realized that the woman serving them was black. So then he goes, hold on. You're telling me that you think that waitress is not in her section because she's black? And he goes, well, yeah. And I start laughing. Literally laughing. Because I'm like, in my head,
there's no way this is
I'm like,
real.
fuck you guys. No. The guy from California who's a Latino shows up for the first time in the South in the early 90s. And you're going to put this on me? Nah. And then in the middle of my head going, bullshit, the manager goes, sir, get the fuck out of our club. Don't even go back in the showroom, and you don't have to pay your tab. Just leave. And my jaw dropped. Literally. I went, what?
That was real?
That was real? That happened? But in my 57 years of life, bro, that's the only time I've ever seen that racism.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? Like real. Not like, hey, the black guy with watermelon and Hennessy. Not that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In real life. Or like the black kid who was jogging down the street and they killed him. You know,
Yeah.
that was on video, right? I've seen that. But like in real life, this was the only one. And you're right. We don't want to be racist or edgy. And most people say things. And dude, we know people that are assholes that say, you know, that don't tell you, hey man, look, I'm concerned about you, bro. I keep doing fat jokes because I'm thinking that it's going to get to you, but it hasn't. You need to lose weight.
Yeah.
Bro, or bruh, or homie, or girl, whatever it is.
Whatever.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's coming from a good place. It's coming from a place of, you know, not just poking at you, but it's kind of like your joke. There's a fine line between tights.
Oh no, yoga pants. There's a fine line between yoga pants and sausage casing.
Okay, that joke as an example. You can take it however you want. But let me tell you, and I didn't write the joke, but let me tell you where the joke really comes from. It comes from get healthier or don't wear those goddamn pants because it looks like sausage casing.
Yeah.
It's really that
We've
simple.
all seen those lumpy pants.
Correct.
And don't act like you haven't.
Right.
And don't act like you haven't thought about it. Just
Right.
because the words didn't come out. That's the issue. Just because nothing is said doesn't mean you aren't thinking it.
Correct. And I think that all those people thinking all those thoughts and not having the ability to put them out, especially when it comes right now to race, ethnicity, the LGBTQ, the gender stuff. I think that there are a lot of people that feel like there's a gay person at my job who's an asshole. But I can't say anything about it because the minute I say anything negative about this person, I'm all of a sudden bigoted, homophobic.
No, he's just an asshole.
Right.
The fact that he's gay has nothing to do with
Exactly.
my decision.
Just because you're black, Asian, LGBTQ, doesn't matter. It doesn't mean you're a good person. Yeah. And it doesn't stop people from being able to look at you in the face and go, stop being a fucking asshole. Yeah. I'm black. I'm Latino. Good. Stop being a fucking asshole. Yeah. It doesn't matter what color you are. You're a dick. Yeah. I'm a chick. You're a dick. But we can't say that. Well, we can. Oh. We can. We have this outlet.
Not stopping.
We have the ability to do it on stage and make it funny and have everybody laugh and tell us, yes, we feel just like you. Yeah. Thank you. But I think that the rest of the world has to learn how to have enough, confidence, self-love, in order to be themselves.
What's also a bunch of people that don't say anything in person because it's also a culture of people that are used to, I call it the American Idol generation. You're used to passing judgment on people without them ever knowing that you're the one that passed the judgment.
So doing it online and
so whether it's online, and I think I believe it started with American Idol because you were able to judge, no, garbage. Like you can sing. This person is putting their heart out there.
Right.
Nope, this person's garbage.
Right.
Same thing. Anything judged. Yelp is a big problem. Why? Because I'm on my phone and I'm going to type, I hated the food here, or the service was garbage. I hated the Gabe and Carlos show, even though, and we'll never know who those people are.
When it comes to stand-up, what bothers me is the arrogance behind it. The arrogance of you being at a show where we got a standing ovation at the end of the show, but you want people to believe that of the 350 to 2,000 people that showed up, your opinion is the most valid opinion of all? Like, dude, if I went to a restaurant that served, I don't know, alien dick from Mars, and everybody ate it and enjoyed it, and I spit it out and went, ugh, I would never tell anybody that not to go there.
Yeah.
I might not even tell anybody I didn't like it. I might, just go, well, go try it for yourself, figure it out. And I'm glad, because I want to end on this, and I'm glad that you brought it up, because this has been an issue with me, my sons, and my nephews. We went to go see a movie the other day, and at the end of the movie, they go, how would you rate it? And I said, no. And I stopped them. And I said, you guys need to sit down right now. Stop rating shit. Stop putting numbers on your happiness. Because unless it's perfect, you're going to find a reason to give a negative. Let's say it's a 4.9 out of 5. Why not the 0.1? Well, the popcorn, and then they had Coke, but then, you know what I mean? But they didn't have Coke Zero. Like some bullshit that really didn't matter, right? So I tell them, ask me what I thought of the movie. Ask me what I thought of the story. Ask me what I thought of the plot. Yeah. Ask me, was it a waste of time? Ask me, did I enjoy that time? Or am I like, I want my 2 hours back? But don't rate it.
Yeah.
Like, I believe that what you're talking about, rating, is a big part of the problem, because if perfect 5 out of 5, which is pretty much the rating system now. I was going to say 10 out of 10, but it's pretty much 5 out of 5 now. If 5 out of 5 is happiness, then 4.9 is almost happy. 4.5 is kind of happy.
Yeah.
But you're not happy. Whereas in my book, that's not the way I look at it. I enjoyed that movie.
Yeah.
I had a good time. How good? I'll know in a year or 2 or 4. That's when I'll know how much I enjoyed that movie. And here's how I'll know. Because you and me will be talking about a movie, and then we'll start quoting that movie that we saw, and we'll start doing jokes about that movie. Yeah. And that's when I'll go, oh shit, that movie's inside me. I remember those jokes. I remember the thing, and now we're doing this based on that movie. That's when I'll know, like, what effect it had on me in the long run. But in that moment of time, It was fun. It was amazing. It was a great thing. It was fun to watch. And so I say, you got to stop rating things right out the gate.
Well, adding things like what you added on the Yelp thing. If we had 2,000 people at a show,
Right.
the problem with Yelp, one person complained, that one person will write a Yelp review. The 1,999 will not.
Right. And even if they do, those ratings rarely get looked at, right? I mean, yesterday they at the club. So we do a show every Tuesday and Wednesday at 10 o'clock at Jimmy Kimmel. And yesterday they posted all these 5-star reviews of the shows that they've been talking about us, and look at this and look at that, and you know, I'm grateful for the 5 stars. You know what I mean? But within that, they're not showing me the other ones. They're not going to show me the ones that, you know, that got deleted, or the ones that got moved, or the ones that, you know what I'm saying? Because it is so sad that, especially on the internet, saying something sucks gets more views than saying something is amazing. But I still have hope. I still have hope, that positivity, that love, that, you know what I mean? This is why I don't engage, you know, in putting other comics down. Dude, my friend came to me the other day, and he said, I've been working on this for years. Do with it what you want. I know what you're going to do, but I just wanted you to know I love you and I get frustrated for you. And I have over an hour of material of comedians legitimately doing other comedians' jokes. Like, word for word stuff that you're like, whoa, right? I'm never going to put that out. I look at him like, I'm not going to do that, bro. I'm not going to do that to stand up. I have no idea that they stole the joke. I know that they're similar. I don't know if they fixed it or worked it out or whatever. I know that we think alike. I know that when things happen, we all have, you know, it's kind of like when you wrote the joke of the sausage casing. Yeah. Every single comedian that I know of that saw it went like this. Fuck, how did I not write that? Oh, that was so there. It was there. It was there, and we didn't see it. How did we not see it? And you know why we're frustrated? Because we all had the thought. Yeah. We just didn't complete it. But I'm sure there's a version of that joke somewhere out there, because we've all thought that kind of way. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to put that out there. And I'm not going to do this podcast to tell other people, hey, this comedian sucks, that comedian sucks, this comedian's bad. It's not where I want this to be. I want this to be positive. I want this to be different. But I think that negativity, that anger, that repression of self, that judging people, that this many stars, and it's not perfect. All this stuff is leading to the most
it's unhealthy.
Very. Especially
because it's a life of comparison. It's not you focusing on the person you see in the mirror.
Right.
It's me looking at everybody else.
Correct.
And what do they have that I don't? And what do they have that's better than me?
Yes. And somebody's always going to have more than you. Right? It's funny. We did a show in a really, really, really rich part of the East Coast. People parked their yachts. Literally parked yachts out, came in to watch the show, right?
Wow.
It was a small little theater that sat like 300 people, but it was wealthy people. And
not rich people.
No, wealthy people. And one of my opening acts goes, dude, my jokes are about being poor.
You're going to make them laugh harder. Go.
He goes, I'm not going to connect with these people at all. What do I do? And I say, no, your jokes are not about being poor. Your jokes are about comparing your life to somebody else's who you think is richer and has it better than you. You want to connect with these people?
Do those jokes.
Do those jokes. But start by saying, it's kind of like some of you out there who have a really, really nice yacht. But then you parked outside and saw that giant one way on the left, and you all went, fuck! I want that one. And he did that joke. And the minute he said that, bro, because there was one yacht on the end that was much bigger than all the rest.
So there was poor wealthy people.
They were poor wealthy people. And so I told him, I know, just show them that they're poor wealthy people, that it's not about that. And he did that punchline, and it just destroyed. Yeah. And of course, bro, You know what I mean? I'm in the back like the Godfather going.
You're like, that's right. I gotta help him out. Here, help my little boys out.
If you want to know what to do on stage, just talk to me. I got everything. I know what to do. Like, I was just huge, inflated ego, just massive penis, just like, anybody else want some advice around here? Just so, but it did make me feel good. It made me feel good because that moment wasn't about me. It was about the show, granted, and I'm on the show. I am the show. But it was about helping that kid expand the way he thought.
Just the way he saw the audience.
The way he saw the world.
I've never done an audience like this.
And it's like, yes, you have. You're making a wild assumption. It's not, you have money. You just don't have enough money in your eyes, because if you had more money, you could act like this guy. They're all the same when they compare themselves to that one big ass yacht on the end over there. Yeah. And the fact that not only that it worked, not only that it did it, not only that it connected, but it made him see the world and stand up in a different way. That was just like a perfect, multifaceted moment of advice where I got to, you know what I'm saying? It was amazing. It was beautiful. And those are the things that make me happy. Being there for others makes me happy. Buying a house for my mother makes me happy. Knowing that my friends can call me and say, hey, man, I need this from you, and I can give it to them, whether it's time, whether it's borrowing a car, whatever it is, that if I have that and I can give it to them, that's what leads me to happiness. Making people happy. Seeing the way audiences at first are a little hesitant sometimes, and then by the end, they're just ready to go. Shows like last night where they started a little there and kinda, and by the end, so many people stayed and hung out and did karaoke and had fun with us. You could see the effect that we touched them.
Absolutely.
That guy came on stage and talked about his mom. The dad and the father went up on stage and sang Cats in the Cradle and the Silver Spoon, bro, to the point where when it got to that point where my boy was just like me, I don't know if you could tell, I couldn't finish the lyrics, bro. You know what I mean? And as I hung up the phone, it occurred to me, I went, like me. It was like I couldn't get it out because I think of my dad and I think of my kids, and my dad is proud because I'm like him. And I see that and I'm so happy about it. And I see me and my children and I'm so happy about that. And I think that those are the things that we need to focus on in the society in order to see ourselves in a much better light. We see ourselves with such negativity and such fear. And look, fear of rejection, we all have it. Fear of success, we all have it. But you know what? You miss all the shots that you never take.
I believe everything's about take. You want to be happy? Start giving. Whether it's giving your time, if you have a couple extra bucks, donate it. Give space, give anything that starts with the word give.
Right.
You want to start becoming happy?
Right.
We give our hearts and try to make people laugh. And our livelihood is based, our self-esteem is based on the judgment of strangers.
Yeah, how they see us. And we're giving ourselves and putting ourselves naked on a platter for them. But that giving part is what drives us and makes us so happy.
If you're Yelping a mom and pop restaurant where it's an Italian restaurant and this is my great grandmother's recipe.
Yeah.
And you Yelp negatively, you're not Yelping the restaurant. You're Yelping the legacy of that family. And people don't see that.
Yeah. And yeah, you know what? And we're going to end on this, guys. Speaking of what you just said, and you should watch it, by the way. I watched it last night on the way here, and man, I was crying my ass off in Baker, bro, because that's when the scenes kind of hit, and it was just this. I just
cry because I'm in Baker.
I was just, so I have this little thing. It's called a doggle, where if you connect it to the USB port, and then you use your phone to Wi-Fi connect it, you can watch Netflix on the screen of the cars.
I want one of these things.
Yeah. So I'll show it to you. But anyway, so I was watching. It was on. I'm not really watching it. You know, it's kind of watching, kind of driving. You know, there's not a lot of traffic, so it's okay. And it was a number one. It was a number one movie yesterday on Netflix. and it's called Nonnas. I guess that means
Oh, I saw that on the
grandmother,
yeah.
grandmother in Italian or something. And dude, it's this movie about it's based on a true story about this guy who had a mom and a nonna who made all these great Italian dishes for him, and when they passed away, he didn't know what to do, so he's like had this idea: I'm gonna open up a restaurant, no chefs. I'm just gonna get nonnas to cook the meals that they grew up wherever they're from.
Yeah.
This woman was from this part of Italy, that woman from that part of Italy. You know, this one woman, her special recipe was the calf's head, bro. And I know that a lot of people freak out, but you and me are going, oh, cabeza. Like we're just like, oh yeah, I love that. Cabeza, love tacos de
People don't
cabeza.
realize that Italians and Mexicans or Latinos are very similar.
Exactly. And so he opens up a restaurant where these women who are just grandmothers
Just cooking their dishes.
And it's interesting, you know, that you say that. So check that out, watch
I
that.
will, absolutely.
And yeah, man, give. I would say give more than you take, but to start, just start giving. And hopefully one day you'll start giving to the point where you give as much as you take. And then hopefully one day you'll give more than you take.
I remember when I was really at a low point where unemployed, stand-up was going nowhere, and I didn't know how to pray, and I'd be lying in a bed in a dark room staring at the ceiling, just start talking to God.
Right.
And I started going to church. I was raised coming to church, but once I moved to Vegas, and I just stopped going. And I was raised in Spanish Catholic mass.
Sure.
I didn't even know that English speakers were Catholic. That's how blind I was. And I get to my first church here in Vegas, and it was in English. And I didn't know there were so many Filipinos and white people that were Catholic. That's a genuine blind side. I had no idea. And obviously it was Sunday, and it was during football season, and in the middle of summer in Vegas. So I was raised to dress up to go to church. These guys are in flip-flops and shorts and Vikings jerseys and Dolphins jerseys and Niners jerseys because they're going to the bar right after church.
Sure.
And I just remember I would sit in the back row, and I would just sit.
Yeah.
And then as I started paying attention, and the priest would start talking and started making sense, and I got closer. And finally got to the point where I had to be in the front row because I really wanted to pay attention.
Sure.
And when I was in the back row, I didn't have $1 to put in the basket.
Right.
And it was amazing how life changed as I made it to the front row.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying God is the way, and I'm not saying religion is the way. I just know.
That's how you did it. That's what connected you.
It changed my life. And I'm just throwing that example out there.
Sure. Everybody has a story.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody has a story on how they connected with their humanity, their spirituality, their love, their whatever, however you wish to find it. But
I'm not saying religion and going to church is what got me jobs,
right.
But it was amazing how the phone started to ring. So I can't disprove the theory.
Correct. You don't know, man. And I think it's a lot about energy. You began to put out positive energy saying, hey, I want, this to happen because, like, our needs seem selfish, right? I want to, like me right now, I hate the fact that I'm not at a level where I'm doing arenas. Not because of the money, bro. Not because of any of that shit. Do you know why? Because the show that I'm doing right now on stage, in my opinion, is the best I've ever been.
Oh, it's arena worthy.
It's the best I've ever been. And everybody that doesn't get to see that, for me, it's like, damn, I wish you did. Not because it's me.
Yeah.
Not because it's me. Not because I'll make more money. Not because I want to give the world what I have right now more than anything in the world. And I want to give as much and as many people as I can. And that's why it makes me, like a little sad that I'm not in that space right now because of the giving part.
Because you want to give more.
I do want to give more. I
it
really
comes
do.
down to give.
Yeah. So be givers, guys. And let's talk next week and see how you did.
Today's episode was brought to you by Ozempic. So there we go.